Hey, greetings everybody, it is Gleekon here again, coming at you with another episode of World of Warcraft. Oh, look at that, great, we got shadows, we have crooked lettering, just grade A choice uploading of video images for me. Alright, so we are still in the aftermath of the War of the Ancients, and the Elven Empire has been split, with the High Elves going over to the Eastern Kingdoms, and we're going to follow along, I think, with the Curse of Crystalsong. Now, at this point, I'm not sure how this is all going to go down, because with the Sundering, Dalaran is now broken off across an ocean to the north. So this is 6,000 years before the Dark Portal. Stay a while and listen to the Curse of Crystalsong. As Quel'Thalas flourished, other highborn communities across the world struggled to survive. One such community dwelled in the city of Shandaral, a repository of arcane relics and artifacts. At the apex of the Night Elf Empire, this outpost had been established in the northern reaches of Kalimdor. Following the Sundering, Azeroth's main continent had fractured into multiple landmasses. Now Shandaral and its highborn dwelled in the frigid heart of a new and harsh continent known as Northrend. Okay, so that's how they got there. The Shandaral highborn remained in total isolation, cut off from their cousins in Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms. Their distance from the Second Well of Eternity left them vulnerable to disease and other ailments, yet unlike Dathramar's followers, the Shandaral highborn did not possess any vials of the Well of Eternity's waters. They had no way to create a surrogate source of power. For centuries, these highborns scoured the surrounding forest of Moonsong for means to sustain themselves. And in the Northrend expansion, there are a lot of ley lines in that storyline, so that checks. During this time, the Highborn witnessed members of the Blue Dragon Flight using spells to crystallize living things and draw power from them. Although the dragons performed these acts out of mere curiosity, the elves saw the technique as a means to end their suffering forever. So it's been a few thousand years since they were wiped out, or essentially wiped out, but I guess the few that were secreted away by Krasis and given to Nosdormu obviously have started to repopulate to some extent. Attempts by the Highborn to interact with the dragons were ignored, or in some cases met with open hostility. Out of desperation, a group of Highborn sorcerers infiltrated the Blue Flight's wondrous lair, the Nexus, which that's also northwest, the extreme northwest of Dalaran, of the northern continent, rather. The Highborn succeeded in learning the dragons' techniques, but greed also drove them to take more than they had come for. The elves pilfered some of the powerful relics stored in the Nexus. In doing so, they triggered magical wards, sending the blue dragons into a frenzy. Although the Highborn thieves escaped with their lives, they knew full well that the dragons would seek retribution. Plus, they're already mad. They've already been mostly driven mad because Malygos is mad. That day soon arrived. Dozens of blue dragons descended on Shandaral, seething with indignation at the theft of their precious relics by the lesser Highborn. The elven sorcerers, desperate to drive away their enemies, gathered on an icy cliff overlooking Moonsong. There they agreed to use the techniques they had acquired from the Nexus. As one, the Highborn sorcerers focused their power, making like a matrix, like in the book, hoping to crystallize a small portion of the forest and use its energies as a weapon to annihilate the dragons. The spell proved disastrous. I mean, they just learned in magic. The Highborn's reckless casting set off a blinding explosion visible from as far away as Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms. The roaring torrent of energy instantly crystallized the entire forest of Moonsong. The blue dragons, sensing the impending spellwork, escaped before disaster struck. The physical forms of every other living creature in the region were shattered by the release of energy. Their spirits, although warped by the powerful spell, were left intact, cursed to mindlessly wander the haunted land that would become known as Crystalsong Forest. And there are very few quests in Crystalsong Forest. The capital, Dalaran, floats above it. So somehow we're going to get there. But the few quests that do take place on the floor of the Crystalsong Forest do involve the ghosts of this elven people. Okay, so just a neat little establishment of one of the realms of Northrend, because this is... We've talked a little bit about the not the Valar, not the Valkyr, the Stormborn, whatever their race is. We've talked a little bit about them being up north, but not a lot. And we know one of the old gods is hidden up there, but we don't have a lot of other information. And now here's a little bit of how Crystalsong was formed. Okay, guys, another episode in Pipes 5x5. I will see you on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft. Thank you for listening.